Welcome to yet another exciting session of Talk the Talk only on Valuable.com. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our guest today. He's Chief of Global Research Programs at Tata Steel. He's here today to talk about Mind Over Matter, which is Tata Steel's annual innovation challenge for students. Dr. Sumitesh specializes in engineering materials and manufacturing science. His research interests lies in integrated product design, multi-scale materials computing, and functional nanomaterials. Dr. Sumitesh has been associated with Tata Steel since 2006. He's passionate about developing economically viable and environment-friendly technologies through integrated research. Dr. Sumitesh, welcome to this Google Plus Hangout.
Thanks, Ravi. Thanks.
First of all, I would like to congratulate the entire R&D team for an overwhelming response that we got for Mind Over Matter Season 2. And I'm sure this particular initiative, Mind Over Matter, is going to change the innovation landscape of the country. So we'll start off with questions. How do you feel about Mind Over Matter coming back for a second season?
Yeah, Ravi, so thanks for all the good things you said about Mind Over Matter. For me, because we started Mind Over Matter, it's like seeing a child growing up. So it's like the child was born last year, season 1. And today we are seeing in season 2, it's like a toddler running along. So I'm sure as we go into year 4 and 5 and growing into the teenage years, we will see it proliferating much bigger. So for me personally, it is an exciting thing, like seeing that the child is growing up. So I'm really excited that we are sitting again here at the sort of middle of season 2, not yet finished. We're still waiting for the guys and girls to come along. So it's exciting stuff, I believe.
What were your experiences during season 1?
Okay, season 1, I think the biggest experience was that there was a freshness in the air. We were not expecting too much, let us be very frank, because the challenges that we had put out in season 1 and also in season 2, they are the state of the art. They are the best in the world challenges that you could ever get. So our expectations were not very high, but believe you me, they really gave us some wonderful insights. And all the first, the toppers, I mean, I think there was a lady from IIT Roorkee, and there was a few other teams from IITs and local colleges, I think. They gave us 3 solutions, which we are still trying to implement. But I think within a span of 8 weeks that they spent here, they have developed really fantastic concepts. And I hope that the new team, which is going to come, they're going to sort of take on the baton forward.
I'm sure, sir, since the challenges you talked about were very interesting, we're also geared up to see some wonderful solutions at the end of internship. How was it working closely with students?
We went back to our old hippie days. That's what I believe for the mentors who were there. What happens is that once you start working in a corporate R&D, then you tend to follow the seniors, or you tend to lose out on many of the things that you would rather do in college. So working with the students brought that flair back. It was like, why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? So the prejudice that you already have on working on a subject for years together, I think that went away. And then people became, including both the people who came in as well as the researchers, they became more and more open, and they were embracing new ideas. So I think, who can think, I think there was an idea saying that, could you melt steel scrap using solar? Somebody would say it is ridiculous, right? But these 4 guys, you know, they worked on the solution, they developed a mathematical formula and showed that it was actually possible to melt. Now we are trying to see if we could get somebody to manufacture it. So I think it is the novelty that they bring in, I would say the spooky ideas that they get in. I think that is what brings in, and it somehow takes you back all those 10, 15 years when you were just fresh out of college.
You know, I can say for myself that it's always quite good to go back to your college days, at least in terms of the memories. And I'm sure the R&D team would have felt the same. Now coming to the magic theme, you know, it's often said that this magic is getting created with youth and experienced team coming together. What did you learn from students who interned with you in season 1?
See, when we came out of college, we were not this much networked. So today, I remember when we joined, somebody had to find out something about a problem. You would be sitting in a library. You'd be referring through several journals, several books. At the end of the day, maybe you would learn only 5%. But today in the connected world, you basically Google, you do a wiki, you do a tweet, you do whatever, you know. So in a span of 1 hour, you can actually gather the information that you would rather do in 30 days. I think that is what the youth teaches us. You know, they actually know how to make use of the so-called the Internet of Things, let me put it in a broad way, and use that as a medium to actually gather information and network. So, and I think that element of networking is something which I cherish from season 1, and I'm sure season 2 with more the power of the internet growing and the connectivity growing. In fact, some of the guys in season 1 have actually opened up a Facebook site or something saying we enjoyed the stuff and things like that. So we're looking forward to. So it's the combination that you mentioned of youth and experience. I think with the youth, the experience slowly that I see becomes irrelevant after some time because the technology itself is changing so fast. So I think for us, the faster we unlearn, and for the youth, the faster they learn. I think that is where the level playing ground is.
I think you well said, sir. In fact, technology is getting an enabler in a sense that it's democratizing the level and making a level playing field in every profession.
So two things. One is the democratization of knowledge and democratization of information and data. So now you can send probably gigabytes of data from Jamshedpur to say IIT Kharagpur, and they can do the synthesizing of the data and send it back to you. Something which would not have been possible, say about even 10 years ago or even 5 years ago.
And again, coming back to season 1, what did students receive in terms of the mentoring and access to facilities at Tata Steel?
Yeah, so it was a learning experience for us as well. So when the students came, we thought we could provide them with all the lab facilities, and we could partially fulfill that particular aspect. And that is something we have taken very sort of given more attention in season 2. So when the student comes here, he or she feels that you get the lab, the facilities, the accessories that are required to do the experiment right then and there. That happens in an education institute where they do a vocational kind of a training. Over here it is about man management. So the first thing that they learn is how do you respect the guy on the shop floor. There could be a person who is a technician with 30 years of experience standing before you. How do you get the work working together? I think that is something which we felt we should have the mentor and the mentee together with the lab technician, and they sit together and say, well, we are all a part of the team, we want to create that. I think in the season 1, we just left it to the people who came in that go and do this experiment. Something which I think we are trying to sort of do better this year.
Yeah, I think this, both the mentor and mentees coming together, they explore the dynamics of a corporate world is what you're talking about. Do you think the transition from the theoretical learning in college to a practical R&D setup in a company like Tata Steel was easy for students?
I think the batch we got was good. I really found them saying that I can't do it. I mean, that was something which was great. Really. I mean, it was like, we knew that the subjects are difficult. We knew it was not easy for them to learn, come up with a concept, and then implement. They obviously had their ideas of how to go through. In fact, I will. One example which stands out was a person who was trying to do a coating on steel without actually putting a paint. It was like creating small dents in the steel surface, which could retain the color liquid for a longer time. So it was like a surface of the skin. It would go out, and then as soon as you put the paint, it would sink in. Now, we couldn't actually get the proper surface during his entire experiment, but he never gave it up. I remember 48 hours just before he was sort of writing up, he finally managed to get one sample, and that was for him magic. And I think he got the maximum number of claps when he presented in front of the audience just for his perseverance. So I think to put it in one small summary is, it is not the matter of theory and practical, it is a mindset. And I think in season 1 we got the best of the people with a mindset who said, yes, we want to do something. And I think if we could recreate the same magic in the coming seasons with people wanting to do something, then I think it's easy to connect the theory and the practical thing.
Well, research and magic, they go hand in hand.
Right.
Having interacted with students last year, how do you find, whether you think the students of today's age in India, they are really groomed to innovate right from the school or the college level?
Yeah, that is a big question, because most of the innovation goes out by the time they are into the IIT days. But we have to find the ways of getting that magic back. And one of the ways is this challenge, where you don't pose a problem, you pose a challenge. So what happens is that they then start thinking widely. They start thinking more openly. They start questioning the question itself that we put to them. They start interacting and they try to find out, has there been something similar done in some other field? So we are not too much bothered about what happened in college days or what happened in school days, because we know that there is a demand supply graph in the country. So naturally they have to go through that examination route and all that. So that will take time to change. So we can't change everything, but what we can do is, if we can provide an ecosystem in which there's a challenge, there's an aspiration, and you sort of just nurture them, that okay, you can do it. Provide that ambience, I think it helps. And that's what our learning has been. Just raise the bar a little bit more. The moment you raise the bar a little bit more, there will be people who will come up and who will try to excel. I think that's what we learned from season 1.
Well, question the questions. Lovely way to start. And they always say education is about unlearning and then relearning again.
Absolutely.
What can students expect in Mind Over Matter Season 2 in terms of facilities, access to?
Yeah, Mind Over Matter 2,
etc.?
I think, Ravi, we are better prepared in terms of the solutions that they have provided. We have more or less anticipated what are the labs that they would be requiring, what are the facilities, who are the people with whom they need to contact in the plant to execute their ideas. And I think at the end of the day, there's a money at the end of the game now. So I think previously it was just a pat on the back. So I think there is a prize money at the end to just boot them up. And I think what we are going to do is that if we can push their ideas a bit more further, and take it a bit more further in sense of implementing some of these things, then maybe these guys later on in their career, if they want to stick to this field of metallurgy, field of material science or innovation, whatever, then they become an asset to us anywhere they are in the world. I mean, they become an asset to the whole entire steel industry, not only to us. So in that way, I think this program, as you rightly mentioned, that it's going to be a trend setter. For the steel industry, of course, it's going to be a trend setter. So that's what we are looking for.
I'm sure, sir, there are a lot to be expected in Season 2, and students can really be geared up to kind of get surprised and get a lot of new things on board. Can you tell us about what is it like working with a company like Tata Steel?
For the students, you
for the students who probably will join us shortly for the
internship. Yeah, I would say, personally for me, this is a company which allows you to nurture your dreams. I mean, this is what I would say. So if you're looking for a job, just a job, any company can give it. But if you're looking for a job with satisfaction, something which gives you that extra bit of a edge to do and excel, I think this is the company you're looking for. Associated with this, of course, are the values, the ethos of the company, the legacy and all that. But I feel this is a company which is going through a very transitional times, and it has to take into consideration many things, like technology is changing very fast, the market is changing very fast. You are having an entirely new generation of consumers who are going to consume steel and steel related products in a different way than what, say, people used to consume 30 years ago. The world has become more open, it's more flat. So you don't really have the power of brands maybe lasting for a longer time. So you have to continuously replenish the brand through new products, new offerings. Who will create this? It has to be created by the people of today who are going to be the consumers of today as well as tomorrow. So I think why we wanted this program was that although we have close to 400 researchers all around in R&D and technology group put together. But if we can get that, what does the Generation Z, let me put it, or I don't know, the next generation will be Generation ZA possibly, as in Excel sheets. What do they want? how do they look at steel? How do they look at the environment around them? Do they look at a steel making process which does not have any CO2 emission? Do they look at steel being married with some new materials like say carbon nanotubes or graphene or something else which makes it sustainable much more? So that is where we are looking for, ideas to work together to see what we can bring to the playing ground. So I think students can look for a very open atmosphere to exchange ideas. So it's not going to be that the mentor says and the mentee does. It's going to be a two-way traffic in which there's going to be appreciation of ideas. And I think, Ravi, at the end of the day, if somebody says, yes, great man, your idea was appreciated and we did this, I think that's a big thing for, and we have many of these MTech students, many who are beyond this mind over matter, who move on to different companies and says, I really enjoyed my time, it's a small time of 8 weeks, but if you really enjoy and carry it back, carry some of the values that how did the mentor work with you to your future workplace, I think we have done a great deal.
I think there's nothing better for a student to see their ideas getting groomed in an ecosystem which allows it to flourish and have a system which allows you to also take it to a logical conclusion. If I may ask you this question as to for students who will be doing this internship, post that, what are some key takeaways that they take it back to their academic life?
Well, I think they join us at the end of the third year, right? So they are looking for maybe 1 year of academic life and then maybe moving on to a post-graduation degree, either to a management degree or to a technical degree, more or less.
Or maybe a job.
Or maybe a job. I think the first thing that they take away from here is independent thinking. The fact that they are here is because of their independent thinking. I mean, because of the responses we got, something around 180 responses, and we are selecting just the top 9 or 10. So that itself is just 10%, less than 10% of the entire stuff. So first is independent thinking. Second is how do you work in teams? This is going to be something which is they learn. Third is how do you work across different age groups? In India tomorrow, there is going to be an age group, different age groups who are going to be there. So this is something you carry back there. The fourth, and I think the most important, is how do you respect? How do you rejoice, enjoy your work? I think that is something which has to be there. Otherwise, you tend to taper down in your career soon enough. And finally, I think it's about the values of truth that is there, because science is all about truth at the end of the day. So you cannot lie. So when you make that presentation, the final presentation in front of the entire gathering of all the research honkos, let me put it there, the fact that you're standing there and saying that I failed, that itself is a win. Doesn't matter. I mean, if you win, it's a win. I think you don't have to ask the winner that how you failed. You ask the loser how he or she failed. I think, and if he or she failed at home and said that, look, I gave it my best, I think my idea didn't work, so what? We did our best. I think even last year, I had the students who came up, they were all in tears and they said, sir, we came with so many hopes, all the other guys succeeded and we are the only guys who failed in this. And so we said, so what? That is what we are looking for. That is what we are saying, that okay, it opens up another 10 dimensions. And I think this guy, these two people who gave, I think they are working with some US firm or something, I really don't know. But that were when they go back there and say that, we learned something from this place. That is something I think people carry back. I think it goes much more, Ravi, it goes much more than just technical stuff.
And I think it's not about failure or success. In fact, people say a failure has not to tell more than a success. Absolutely. But it's about going and giving it a try.
At the age of 19 or 20, where you have always been taught to pass, you have fought through the IITs, you have fought through the joint entrance, and you always stood first in your class, you have always succeeded. And you come up to a R&D here and you have a brilliant idea, no doubt about it, because the challenge is also very high. You try it and it just doesn't work. And then you feel that, oh my God, I am a failure. It's not true. I think that is the stepping stones that, we want to create that. We want to say that, look, successes, winners will always be there. There will be winners. But don't worry. We tag you along.
Okay, will winning the N1 improve their chances of getting hired by Tata Steel?
Winning.
Yeah, if they win.
No, I don't think it is a matter of winning or losing, Ravi. I think it is a matter of the effort that they put in and the brilliance of their ideas. I think, and they stand a very good chance. I think, I mean, all these ideas, all these challenges which were on the net, and whomever I discussed, not only here but across Europe also, these challenges are the grand challenges of the steel industry. So finding a solution or even working towards a solution for these challenges is worth enough, you know, to open up avenues for later phases of life.
I think students can expect a lot this time around, be it experience, be it prize galore, and be it experience to work with a brand like Tata Steel.
Absolutely.
It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, Dr. Sumitesh, on this Google Hangout, and I'm sure students will find some interesting points to ponder over. But before I end, I have one question, which is, what valuable advice would you like to give to students who have been shortlisted and will join us shortly for this internship?
Yeah, I think last time also, I think when we were discussing this topic, Ravi, only one advice: be open-minded. Because if you come here with a feeling that, look, I am from one of those elite institutes, I am one of those guys who are 2000 rankers in the country, you will fail. Because then you will not learn. So come here with an open mind, learn, unlearn what you have learned, mix with people, discuss freely, make the best use of the facilities which are there, because this is one of the R&D with the best facilities available in India. So use the best facilities, whether it's computational or experimental and so on. Learn from your mentors, because these are the guys who have put up the challenges in the first place. And then I think overall, enjoy. Jamshedpur is going to be a bit hot, of course. It's going to be about 45, 46, so take care of your health and all that. But more or less, enjoy the game. I think that is what I would advise them.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sumitesh, and I wish all the best to the entire R&D team. You can watch this interview on valuable.com or visit our YouTube channel. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Thank you.